Full time here, Arsenal 2, Sunderland 0. An unnamed member of the Arsenal.com team just stopped me and said, "Oh, you're going to do your weird little bit to camera?" Yes, I am. And I'm going to keep doing it until I'm a YouTube millionaire or dead. Dead's more likely with my luck. Anyway, 2-0. And I'll tell you what, there's a bit of a pattern emerging here. 0-0 at half-time and then 2-0 at full-time. That's happened in 3 of our last 4 games. And I don't think that's coincidence. Sorry, I'm just watching Alexis and Danny Welbeck come back out to go through a bit of a warm-down. Probably wise. I don't think that's coincidence. Arsenal have, gone back to basics. They've looked for defensive stability. They grow into games, really. They're a little bit more cautious in the first half and then push on in the second. That said, this match in particular doesn't necessarily fit that pattern because Arsenal had opportunities in the first half to take the lead. It looked as if we had the capacity to blow Sunderland away, and yet we didn't do it. And that allowed them to gain some confidence. Jermaine Defoe probably came the closest in the first half with a stinging drive which Petr Cech turned away. They're rubbish, to be honest, Sunderland. They're not any great shakes. They went with a 3 at the back system today, mirroring Arsenal. But we were, whilst jaded, there was a relatively unchanged team. A few switches here and there, but not the dramatic sweeping changes some suggested might happen. While jaded, we had superior quality. We just couldn't make it happen in that final third. I think Olivier Giroud took quite a bit of stick on Twitter and from the fans from what I saw. I don't necessarily think it was his fault. I just think, it was a packed Sunderland defence and we couldn't quite get that breakthrough. It felt as if once we got the first goal, the floodgates might open, but we had to wait for some time and it was getting antsy here. The breakthrough eventually came from Alexis Sanchez. Arsenal grow into games. Alexis Sanchez is a guy who grows into games. Arsene Wenger's talked about it. Sometimes at first he doesn't seem quite switched on, so his decision making seems off, and he tends to adjust to the match as it goes on. And he came up trumps here with 2 more goals. Look, Alexis Sanchez, I cannot think of a better attacking player in the Premier League. I know people will point at Eden Hazard, I understand that. But his output does not match up to Alexis. Alexis now has 28 goals for Arsenal in all competitions. That's extraordinary. No player since Emmanuel Adebayor, I don't think, has scored 30 goals in an Arsenal shirt. And before that, you're looking back to Thierry Henry. And Alexis is not even a conventional striker, or at least hasn't been for the majority of this season. Throw in the assists too, the creative element. He is just something else. He's certainly too good to be playing in the Europa League, which is where I think Arsenal are going to end up, despite this result. It would almost be weird if he stayed with us now, You think of the teams out there, the Bayern Munichs, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids. He is a player of that calibre. Of course, I'm desperate for him to stay, but I can't see it. He's too bloody good. But thankfully, he is here this season. What would our campaign be like without him? And the first goal owes plenty to Granit Xhaka too. Really lovely clip pass over the top. That is a pass of superb quality. And yes, admittedly, there wasn't necessarily much pressure on him at the time, but he's been doing that for the last few weeks, and I think it's something afforded to him by the new system. They can't close him down as easily because they've got to get out to the wing-backs, they've got to get out to Ozil and Alexis. It gives him more time on the ball, and he's picking out targets so easily. Picked out Ozil, and a lovely square, and then Alexis tapped it in. It's the second, a header. Again, how's he getting above these defenders? We talked on the Arsecast, by the way, about Jordan Pickford, so we weren't necessarily sure he was the real deal. Obviously, consequently, he produced a blinding performance today. I'm sure Arsenal fans will have been licking their lips looking at that and thinking, can we bring this guy in as a potential long-term successor to Petr Cech? Good performance from Pickford. Good performance from Jermaine Defoe at the other end, I must say. I don't take any particular pride or pleasure in saying it, but the way that he stretched our back 3 as a one-man attack was impressive. He's running in the channels, and that's where Arsenal need to improve, really. I think the team for the FA Cup final, assuming Aaron Ramsey's okay, is pretty much picks itself. The one question mark is over the centre forward, Olivier Giroud or Danny Welbeck. I think Danny Welbeck should get his chance against Everton this weekend to show what he can do. And then it's in Arsene Wenger's hands. Big call to make. Good result tonight, keeps the momentum going. 4 consecutive clean sheets here in the Premier League too. But I think expecting a favour of Middlesbrough It's probably a bit much. You never know, though. A relegated side from the northeast did us a big favour last season too. So come on, Callum Chambers. Hat trick from Callum Chambers and a clean sheet. All right, cheers, guys. Bye bye.